Hey everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for checking in, guys. This is Damien. We are on day 38 of my 55-day of the first phase of 55-day journey of going from being unemployed, overweight, and broke to a place of having a good job, being in shape, and having some kind of financial stability. If you've been following along now, as you know from the past 38 days, I've covered a lot of topics and a lot of information. I try to share books with you, quotes, topics that I think might be useful and helpful to you, that I'm finding are useful and helpful to me. And what I want to talk about today on day 38 is I want to talk about looking for the right things in every situation as you go forward. What you're going to find now is if you're applying to jobs and you're having some resume or some interviews and you're meeting some people, you might either be frustrated because maybe you don't feel like people really get the value that you bring to them or to their company. You might be feeling underappreciated. You might feel, that maybe these people, I've heard people say, oh, I could do a better job than they could. They just don't even know it. And whatever your attitude is and you're looking for, you've got to be careful of, because what you seek is what you're going to find. And if you've been following any of my blogs, my video blogs, you'll know that I do share some parable stories, whatever you want to call them, grown-up fairy tale, nursery rhymes, whatever. And but they're things that I think that help put a little bit of a simplification on ideas that might be sometimes a little bit more difficult to think through or to understand. And what I want to share with you today, talking about watch what you're looking for, be careful of what you're looking for, is a story about a man who goes to a new town thinking about moving his wife and family to this new town. And it's a small town in the upper Midwest, and when the man gets there, he pulls into a gas station on the edge of town, and he meets the attendant that's outside and says to him, I'm thinking about moving my family here. What kind of people live in this town? You're from here, right? And the attendant said, yeah. And he said, well, what kind of people live in this town? And the attendant said, well, what kind of people live in the town that you came from? And the gentleman thought about it for a minute, and he said, well, they're a bunch of crooks, no good, lying thieves. There's not a scent of honor or a single thread of honor amongst any of them. They're just awful. And the attendant said to the man, he said, well, I think what you're going to find is that people in this town are a lot like that too. And so the man drove away, shaking his head, frustrated that he wasn't going to move there. And a couple days later, another guy pulled into town, the same gas station, and basically said the same thing, thinking about relocating my family to this town. What kind of people are there like? What are the people like in this town here? And the attendant said, well, what are the people like in the town you come from? And the guy thought about for a second. He said, well, they're good people. They're caring. They're genuine. They're very honest. Neighbors would do anything for their neighbors. It's just a really good town with a lot of really good people. And the attendant smiled at the guy and said, well, I think you're going to find that our town's a lot like that as well. You're going to find those same kind of people here. And the moral of the story, obviously, is what you are looking for is what you're going to find. If you're looking for the worst in the world and you're watching CNN every day, you're watching, all these bad stories about everything that's happening everywhere, and it makes you feel like, wow, everything's going crazy on this planet, you're going to get more crazy. You're going to get more bad. You're going to get more murder and rape and just horrible, awful stories. But if you start looking for the positive, you're going to find that most people are generally good. The majority of the people in the USA, in the world, are generally decent people who just want to take care of their families, find happiness in some level, some form in their life, and live a peaceful, calm, happy life, helping people. And if that's what you look for, then that's what you're going to find as well. So I just want to encourage you, be careful what you're looking for as you're going through the job search and you're meeting people. Try to look for the positive. Try to look for, the ideals that you want to find in every situation. I think that you'll find more of them as you're going forward. So with that, again, thank you for tuning in, and come back again on day 39 for the next tip.